Welcome everyone, I'll be showing you the hair dye that I use, which is the hair colour by It's Pure Organics. It's a henna based hair dye and it's easy and simple to use. I'm using chestnut, gives me a nice auburn highlight. What we get in the box is 2 sachets of hair dye and easy to follow instructions. Unlike most hair dyes, it is a powder based hair dye, all natural products, and there's henna in there of course, which helps stain the hair. This is a hair dye that will stain, it does not dye, so when you choose your colour, it is your colour unless you can go darker. So you add water and you're literally just going to mix and mix until it makes a nice paste like yogurt. I choose this hair dye because it's natural. When I consistently start to dye my hair, I just didn't feel comfortable anymore with the harsh products. I've been going grey since I was in my 20s, so I was prematurely grey. And as I got older, obviously, I got more grey and I just decided to start dyeing it. But as I said, I wasn't really happy with the constant chemicals. So I've switched to this and I've been using this hair dye now for about 4 years. The only difference is the processing time. This will take 2 to 3 hours to process. It's worth it because the results are what you want. I've never had no issues with this hair dye. I've changed colour once. I went to I believe it was a chocolate brown, and because the auburn was very intense at this point, so I wanted to take it down a shade. But I wasn't happy with it. I think it looked too natural. I like the highlight. I like the highlight a lot that the auburn of this chestnut colour gives the grey. The grey coverage is amazing. It never fades. It definitely doesn't wash out. It just ends up looking so natural. So here we go. On to application. These are my tools. Just your simple dye tools I'm using, and we're going to part the hair. Doesn't really matter how, we just need to part it in half. Get rid of half of it. Makes it easier because you're dealing with a paste and not a cream, and you're literally going to paint this into the partings. Here we go. On this side, we're working on, you have to part it again in the middle so we can focus on the back. The back, once again, part it into 2. So you've got the bottom and you've got the top that makes your crown. With a dye brush, you want to get into the parting, as you can see, all the way. You just want to make sure you've got a nice heavy amount and really focus on all your edges. And you're literally just painting it onto your hair. Now with the fine tooth comb side, you want to tease it in, almost like back combing, but combing it into the hair, making sure every single hair is covered. And you want to do that along the parting where it meets the top and the piece of hair you're working with. Part it again and then do the same. Apply it liberally between the 2 sections like that, top, bottom, and make sure you get really into the parting. You're using the same technique whether you're doing just your roots or the whole hair, except when you tease, you'll be combing it through the full length of the hair. And with your fingers, just tease it in. Smooth it out, and if you feel the need to, put more on, but I'm happy with that. And then we get this out the way, and then we'll be moving on to the section that's at the crown here. And once again, part that into 2 more sections. Really apply onto these sections. I'm not really fussy about having perfect partings at this point, as long as you are getting it through your whole roots and a heavy part of your hair. As long as your hair is covered, it really won't matter. And here we go. So we just literally carry on through that whole section, liberally covering the hair, combing it through, making sure there's enough, liberally cover it again, and then once it's covered, all the way into every single part of your parting where it meets, and then pull it through and make sure the whole hair is covered. Once you're satisfied with how much you have on, you just need to get it out of the way so we can then work on the front. Struggling here a bit, it's usually a lot more easier to manage, but the curls, when you want them to like separate, it can be a bit difficult. So I put it in a nice little plait, get it out of the way. Now we're going to do the front section. Now with the front section, you want to do smaller partings as you're working your way up, and you also want to make sure you get these little corners near your ears. This part, if you're doing your roots, this is where you may miss some of your little finer grey hairs. So with the front section, you want to put as much on as you feel that you need, and making sure you get all the way to the very root and leaving nothing uncovered. With it being green, it's hard to miss any. You've just got to make sure you get all the little baby hairs, especially if you have mixed race or black hair. It's these tiny hairs at the front that you may miss, so you want to make sure you get all of those. As you can see with this section of hair, it's a smaller section. We want to do little bits at a time to make sure there's full coverage at the front. Doesn't matter if you miss a bit at the back, but at the front you will be able to tell, and it makes it more versatile when it comes to styling your hair, whether it is curly or straight, pigtails, whatever your favourite hairstyle of the day. Every part of your hair should be covered. Moving on now to the next section, and once again, little bits. If you've got a good parting, and once again, liberally paint it on. And it's like painting. But yes, I really enjoy this hair dye, but the only problem is it does take a long time. For it to process on my hair, I've given it 3 hours, I always do. I've fallen asleep with it in, and there's been no issues. And in the summer, I think exposure to the sun may make it lighter. I'm unsure. And I do find after a few days, you do get almost like the true colour. It settles down, you've washed out every last trace, and it settles down, but it will leave your hair dry. So it's very important that you have a hair mask ready that is rich in proteins. But yes, and that's it. You see, as we're doing this one, we're just combing it all the way through, and it takes a long time. I think it takes about half an hour to do it all, and this is me rushing. I'm not being so perfect with my partings because I really found that it didn't matter. The only parting that matters the most is the one at the very centre, just to be sure that it's all covered. And when you part your hair for hairstyles, there is no stray greys. Getting to the halfway point now. This section's nearly done. I put off doing my hair sometimes because I just find that the process does take, I put it off, it's not the quickest hair dyes, but it's my favourite. I have to really time it right. I'll either do it last thing at night and risk it and go to sleep with it on, which means I'm up early to wash it all out, or I have to do it early in the morning once the children have left, and then I've got a few hours before I have to go out. So it's really something with how long it takes to process. You have to time it right. So here we go, on to the next side. This side you won't have to watch. Here we are, right? It's all covered, and as you can see, I've literally covered my head now like it's a mask. You can see I've got a nice neat parting. And now we're liberally just going to paint as much as we can on the front. Make sure every last grey hair is covered before we wrap this up. And I'm very particular about this because over the years I have missed grey bits, and it's too late and it takes too long to just go and touch it up. So I'm very particular. I use a mascara wand. You buy these, they're called spoolies, so you can buy these in individual packs. And this is really just to make sure I get every last hair into the paste, and then stick it down almost with more paste. And that's what you're doing. You're just making sure you get every hair, stick it down. And I'd say this is more like doing a hair mask. If you've ever done a clay hair mask, it's definitely got the texture of clay. At first it looks like yogurt because it's got the clay texture. Tidying up with the water wipes. They're big sheets and I recommend them to anyone. They're so much better than baby wipes. Last touch up, cake more on, and that's what I'm saying, cake. Now we're not doing liberal, we're doing caking. But as much on as you can, because it doesn't matter now. Make sure it's all covered, as I said, like it's a hair mask. And then once you feel satisfied, more of this, every last bit, them little stray hairs, the baby hairs. Toothbrush. With the toothbrush it's a lot softer, and as you can see, this will make sure that it gets into all the layers evenly and it will capture every last stray hair, and that should do it. And then the next stage will be wrapping it. My hair with cling film. If you haven't got a hair cap, they all do the same. Obviously I usually put a hair bonnet on top. Still caking and cleaning up. I think it's important to make sure you get it off your face as well in case it dries or it leaves any stains. I mean, I'm mixed race, so my skin is forgiving for the shade I've chosen, but I've never known to have any stain. Here we go, very attractive hair wrap here, but the plastic cap helps with the process. So pop that on, and I think it's time that I can have a coffee. Right, we're back. It's been 3 hours. I'm going to peel this off. As you can see, usually it looks drier than that, but not today. Right, my chosen shampoos today are the LV's, the Colour Protect shampoo and conditioner. This is my favourite, the Tresemme Colour Rejuvenate. But we're using this because they haven't got my shampoo in stock. Moving on to the banana hair food. This is for afterwards. Big comb and some rubber gloves because it's going to be a mess. As I said, don't be discouraged. Now, final rinse and condition with some hair food. I've chosen banana, very nice, and I can leave this in all day. Been drenched, I feel happy with it, and as I said, with this being a leave-in, it will moisturise my curls all day. You can see my curls are beautiful, and once I get the lighting right for you all, you'll see, wow, there's just not a trace of grey, there's not a trace of dye, and it just looks rich. And I'm just so happy. You can see from my face already, I'm just beaming. And I definitely don't look as tired as I did this morning. Here's a little snapshot kind of this morning. I mean, my hair for starts just looked dry and tired. And I was not happy. Oh yes, look, a close-up shot of my roots. My centre partings, it's like... And it looks so natural, and that's what I like about this. So, time to get ready with me. Blusher. We pad, we brush. We always pad, dab, 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 and brush. So I'm going to reset my towel so it pulls up my eyes. As you can see, it makes such a difference, and it helps me pull up my cheekbones so I can really emphasise on there. Here we are now. This is a little trick if you want real defined jawline. Today I'm feeling a bit self-conscious, so I feel like a bit more definition is needed. Look at that. So we're going to apply eyeshadow with a double-ended eyeshadow brush, starting with the small side. We're going to use my favourite Maybelline Nudes palette. So with the small end, we're going for a white highlighter here to open up the eyes and just in the corners only. Today I think I'm going to go for an evening look almost. A medium shade now for the middle. And as I said before, we get darker to give it a nice ombre effect. And a bit of glitz sometimes is what you need. Some days I just want to do extra eye makeup, do a bit of liner, why not? And the darkest shade now, just in the edges there. Right, blend. Hold the corner there so we don't move it around too much. Bring that dark into the middle. Then from the corner of your eye to the outside, you're blending them both together. Look at that. And then once you're happy with your blending, let's add the mascara, sweeping up and away from you and making sure every lash is coated to give that false lash effect. I don't use false eyelashes, so I take my time with my mascara and the combing of my lashes. With your spoolie mascara wand, we're going to push all that mascara to the very ends of every lash. Try not to get any on my eyelids. And this will give you that true false lash effect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the comparison. So you take your time doing this. You want every lash to be separated. Every single lash is what you want to see. This one's been coated, this one hasn't. And the difference and the definition and the way that it opens your eyes. Today I'm lining my eyes, and I'll go out to the ends, and then I'll go from the outside into the inside like this. I find it easier to do my wings like this. So I usually go from the inside to the out, and then from the outside to the in. Bit of eyeliner on the bottom. I use brown in the day because it's not so heavy. I usually use a darker, like a black for evening looks. On to my favourite part, lining my lips. We're doing a heavy in the middle with a cupid bow, and to emphasise my cupid bow, a nice light line. And on the bottom we're going to go for a heavy today. So a fine line, and then we're going to go heavy in the middle to give a real big voluptuous lips, because today I'm using my favourite lip injection. Boom, here we go. It's a bit much maybe for a day look, but I don't care. I do me, and I like sometimes just putting out a little bit of extra makeup on, make myself feel really nice. Why not? I feel better. I've done my hair, so why not do the full makeup today? Obviously I'm not looking very attractive in this decorating vest that I'm wearing, but didn't want to get hair dye on it. Trust me, the hair dye will stain everything. I'm happy. Look at that. Happy with my curls, happy with my makeup. I'm going to go choose an outfit. Thank you for watching. The outfit of the day is this blue waterfall skirt with a white bodysuit. Spritz on a bit of Coco Chanel, ready to go. Standard Levi's denim jacket, and I feel like a princess. Definitely my favourite skirt with a high-low cut, and look at that, the way it drapes. So I bring it together with my favourite blue and white Paul's Boutique handbag, and I'm ready. Have a great day, everyone.